All right, we're live, and we are joined today by Northeastern head basketball coach Bill Coen. Coach, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, as I said before we hopped on, we do love the CAA. It's one of the more fun mid-major leagues in the country. So we're very excited to have you here. And I wanted to start off with a question, just kind of a geographical question. I noticed that you spent pretty much your entire career, which has been a long career, up in the Northeast. You were at Rhode Island, you were at Boston College, and then eventually you made your way to Northeastern as a head coach. Do you think that's just kind of how your coaching career worked out, or do you really love that area, and did you kind of make it a point to remain there?
Yeah, but probably a little bit of both. I don't think you can ever really plot out a college basketball career. It kind of takes on a life of its own and a mind of its own. But I went to a small Division III school upstate New York and Hamilton College, and coached a little bit of high school, coached a little bit up there, and then got on with Coach Skinner at the University of Rhode Island. But prior to going to coaching, I worked in Boston for a company called Raytheon, and did some software engineering for them. But I love the city of Boston, and fortunate to be able to come back to it after Rhode Island. Went with Coach Skinner back up to Boston College. Spent 17 years with him, and then fortunate enough to come across town and been here at Northeastern for 14 years.
Yeah, and it's been a good time at Northeastern. You've been here for I believe 14 seasons now after the past season ended, and in a league where like the CAA, the offense, as you know, is king, and there's a lot of good offenses in the Colonial. But particularly your motion offense has been a force, and it's really interesting that you have this kind of style where, like you said, you've been in the league for so long. Obviously, other teams, other coaches, other scouts are looking at tape, scouting your style, and yet every year it seems like it's just so hard to prepare for defensively. So what do you do in terms of like making adjustments, whether it's year by year or game by game, that is kind of like helped make your team so potent offensively?
Well, thanks for the kind words. I mean, I think I'd like to echo what you said, how talented this league is offensively. I think I did a defensive presentation for the NABC and went back and researched it. So for the last 3 years, for conference only games, our conference ranked second 1-1 in overall offensive efficiency. We've had guys who have led the league in scoring. We've had guys who have led the league in double doubles, led the league in rebounding. It's a league that's chock full of really talented players, NBA draft picks. Last year we had 4 top 20 scorers in the country.
Yeah.
So when you have that type of potent offense, you have to kind of stay on your game as a coach, because you can't just allow your team to get outscored. And the coaching is really, really strong in this league. A lot of veteran guys who have been around the block and do an excellent job. And so you have to keep tweaking your system. We play a ball screen motion offense, and we like that because that helps prepare our guys for the next level, put multiple guys in ball screens and really educate them on the reads. And that way, it helps prepare them, but it also, as you said, makes you a difficult scout because, you can't play it right. You can only read it wrong. And if your guys are really good at reading it, they put the ball in the right spot and gain an advantage.
One of those really talented players that came through the CAA, came through your program, Vasa Pucica, who, he was a big part of the team that went to the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago. I wanted to talk to you about the Kansas game and just everything around that. Obviously, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that you and your team was kind of aware that you were, pretty big upset pick going into the tournament. Yeah. Everybody loved you. And that game probably could not have gone any worse for you guys all around. So I wanted to just get your take on, what went wrong. Was it just, shots weren't falling? And just, what is your preparation any different when you're, going into a game against a Power 5 school, Power 6 school like Kansas? Or, are you taking a similar approach to when you're playing in the CAA?
Yeah, I don't think it was the Power Five because, I mean, historically we've had some great success against the Power
Right.
Fives. During my time here, we've beaten Alabama, we've beaten Michigan State, UConn, Providence, St. John's,
Hmm.
Georgetown, Florida State, Miami. So we've gone against that level of competition, and that's all great. I think the NCAA tournament is a different beast because unless you have, you're there year in and year out. For those guys, it's their first time through.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times, we were, one of those, kind of, upset specials
Yeah.
that people were talking about. But, when you look at Kansas, they still had 5 McDonald's All-Americans.
Mhm.
They had, look at the guys that came back, Dotson, and, their team this year, they probably would have won it. So,
They were the best team.
I think we ran into a little bit of buzzsaw. They kind of heard all the chatter.
Mhm.
We got their best effort. They didn't take us lightly. They didn't look past us. And we came out anxious. I thought we had a bunch of makeable shots, layups, open threes, normally that we make, and we just got dug ourselves a hole. And I think they, a lot of times in the NCAA tournament, it's about matchups. And they had a couple really tough matchups. We play a little bit of a small ball lineup. They can go really, really big.
Yep.
And their bigs were talented. So it kind of snowballed on us, unfortunately. But I don't think it detracted from what that group had accomplished over the course of 2 years. And probably could have been back-to-back NCAA tournament teams. We kind of misplayed the waning moments of the championship game the year before.
Mm-hmm.
But a really talented group that, it just ended on a bad note there with Kansas. But, if you said you lost to Kansas,
it's not a bad result. And but it sounds like you are firmly in the camp of you would rather nobody be talking about you than everybody
absolutely.
be talking.
That was just, because that's just bulletin board material. And
Yeah.
Right.
And if anybody's watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, when really good players, like when they're given an edge, they can take it.
Yep,
absolutely. And I mean, I know like we were two of the people who we had preached in the podcast that we thought you guys were a really good pick. And obviously, you're right. It's a tough when you have like a level of just pure like talent and athleticism of a team like Kansas. Obviously, you said there were the matchup issues. Sometimes it's just hard. I mean, a few years before that, you guys almost knocked off Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament. So, it does kind of ebb and flow with the NCAA tournament. But let's talk about this season a little bit. It was an interesting year for you guys because there was a little bit of inconsistency that had plagued you guys throughout the CAA play. You guys had that 4-game losing streak, lost 7 and 9, and then all of a sudden the team started to put it together down the stretch. You played your best basketball at the end of the year, and I think even so, I mean, you obviously you came up just short in the CAA title game, which we'll talk about. That game could have gone either way. And I mean, of all the losses you had down the stretch, one of them was against Towson. You were missing Tyson Walker, I believe, and
yep.
It was good to see you guys kind of play that well down the stretch. So, what do you think contributed to kind of getting out of that rut and then peaking at the right time?
Yeah, I mean. We were a strange anomaly this year. I mean, statistically, if you look at the net, you look at the KenPom ratings and everything, we were consistently, 1-2 in the league, 1-2-3 in the league, but we just didn't win close games.
Mm-hmm.
We had. I know you say we were inconsistent. I think we were consistent in that we didn't win close games, and we just kind of found ways to lose. And that kind of snowballed on us. So we just kept telling our guys, hey, we're not that far away. We're a play away. We're one winning play away. Somebody take a charge, somebody, grab a rebound, some hustle play. We're just a play away from really being one of the best teams in this league. And, fortunately our guys didn't quit on the staff and they didn't quit on themselves, and they kept coming to practice with a positive attitude, trying to figure it out and get it right. And, like you said, by the end of the year, it started to turn a little bit. And we always pride ourselves on trying to play our best basketball at the end of the year. And fortunately, we were able to do that.
Well,
Yeah, sorry. Just
go ahead, Ken.
before you go, Joe, I know you had a question coming up, but
Yeah.
just looking at the schedule again too. I mean, it is pretty remarkable. I just wanted to say, with the kind of the luck in close games. I mean, you guys had 9 conference losses. 6 of them were by 3 points or less.
Yeah.
1 was by 4, and 1 was by 5. And the only outlier was that game at Delaware. And Delaware is a very very talented team, but it really, if a few, like you said, if a few bounces go your way, this is probably the same kind of like consistent, really good, spotless conference record for Northeastern.
Yeah, so we were missing a couple guys. Thomas Murphy didn't play all year.
Yeah,
He
that
was
was tough.
beginning of the year starting. Max Borsico was coming off a year off injury, so we've had some. And then, as you mentioned, Tyson at the end of the year kind of got a little nicked up. But it was a year where we just couldn't smooth it out until the end. But that's all part of it, and we always talk about those losses being growth opportunities and what can we do better and where can we gain an advantage. So the team did a great job sticking together, fighting through adversity.
Let's talk about just the offense-defense dichotomy in the CAA. We've talked about on this show a lot how defense sometimes is optional in the conference.
Yep.
And I just wanted your take. We wanted your take on, how you feel about that. Northeastern has actually, perennially been still one of the better teams in the conference defensively. But, when you look at it on the broader scale of the nation, you generally are not getting, teams that are even in the top half of defensive efficiency. So is it more so just, you have to recruit offensive players because these scores in this league are going to be up there and you need to be able to keep pace? Or is it just, these other offenses are so good that they're tough to stop, or a combination?
Yeah, I think it's a combination, but when I look at most of the things, I don't look at the national numbers. I look at the conference because that's what you're trying to do.
Yep.
Kind of be the best in your league year in and year out. And for the last 3 years, we've been the number 1 overall defensive efficiency in KenPom.
Yep.
And we put an emphasis on that, but still, it's tough when you have to guard, Justin Wright Foreman or Jarrell Brantley or, like you mentioned, Bossa. Like there are good players, and good offense usually beats good defense. And when you look at the Nathan Knights and just a number of guys that have come through this league, they're Power 5 guys. Their guys can play at the next level. So you just can't assume that you're going to stop them. But I do think nationally we could probably improve as a conference. But I also think our numbers are down statistically because of the quality of the offensive players in this league.
Yeah, it's very tough. And I mean, one quick point too, like you said, I think I'm trying to remember. I think they just had the G League Player of the Year voting, and then I believe 2 of the top 3 were CAA guys. I think Devontae Kaycock, and then I think it was Brantley. Yeah, Brantley. It's just. And you mentioned a guy like Nathan Knight who was there this year, just guys who it's so hard to prepare for, and it's kind of just coaching defense in a bit of a different beast. But there was another thing I wanted to talk to you about, just in the light of, like we said, you guys were right there with the rest of the pack in the CAA, but you were the 6th seed in the CAA tournament. Of course, we mentioned the close losses, some of the inconsistency. All of a sudden, you blink of an eye, you guys are in the championship game. And you guys, that whole game with Hofstra, I mean, they pulled away at the end, but it was a tight game. It was back and forth. Like, you guys were very close to another NCAA bid. And it's kind of turned into something that I now call the Bill Coen effect, where I kind of just expect you guys to always be good, like no matter what. And like when the bright lights are on and when it's, tournament time and everything, like, and this is, I'm not the only person who thinks this, but, you just kind of expect Northeastern to play its best basketball when it matters. Is there anything that you specifically focus on with your team just to kind of make sure that they're a threat to win whenever it matters most? In that example where you did, get the 6th seed, you upset Towson, and you eventually got to the title game.
Yeah, I think, we try to tell our guys and frame it right from the beginning. There are 3 parts of the season. And there's your non-conference schedule, and that's basically to get you ready for CAA play. And we try to go out every year and try to challenge ourselves against the very best, find out where our holes are, take your lumps, but really kind of get battle tested against teams that maybe play a similar style that you'll face in conference and so on. And then you get into conference play, and it's really an 18-game seeding process, and other growth opportunities where you can go to. And then one and done play is just a different beast, whether it's in conference play or NCAA tournament or postseason play, and it's a different mindset. So we talk about that and try to educate them and get them ready. And fortunately, that approach is worked pretty well for us. We've been in 3 straight championship games, 5 of the last 8 years, giving ourselves a chance. And that's what I think as a coaching staff, we try to say, hey, you can't always control the results, but you want to give your team the best chance to go to the NCAA tournament. And, trying to struggle with that balance between offense and defense and style of play and mix of players and, what's gonna give your team the best chance. And, that's kind of where we fell out of. But I think it's a mindset going into it and prepping your players, understanding that these segments of the year are different. When you go into non-conference, people don't scout you as much. They don't have familiarity. But like you said, you're going against some of these same coaches year in and year out. They know your coaching tendencies. They know what you like to play. They know your pet plays. So it's a different type of execution that you need there to be successful. And then I think that the championship mindset is critical when you go into postseason play.
Yeah, well, it takes a special kind of institutional success that's kind of built up over years to, always make yourself a threat, no matter the circumstances. But either way, you guys had a really good team last year anyway. I mean, you had obviously Jordan Rowland was awesome. I mean, just a really dynamic scorer. And then another guy, Bolden Brace, who was a versatile forward, both of them really good shooters. And those are 2 guys that unfortunately you're going to lose next year. And I know Jordan wasn't here for his full 4 years, but I just wanted to hear you kind of describe the impact that they both made during their time at Northeastern.
Well, I mean, we pride ourselves on a player development program, and we recruited Jordan out of high school. He went to GW, had limited success down there, but his sit-out year, he killed it. I mean, he really was in the gym working at it. I think he maybe averaged about 6 points a game down at GW or so, somewhere thereabouts, came in and was a third-team all-conference player and had that impact from the start. And then last year was just phenomenal. He's had the best single season of any Northeastern player since Reggie Lewis. Broke the single-game scoring record. Ended up in the top 10 in the nation in scoring, and just had a phenomenal year. And Bolden Brace as well. He's just been a cornerstone from day one, all 4 years. He's been in the championship 3 straight years. And there's no reason, no shock to that, given his contributions and how he just makes winning play after winning play. But those guys have been the bedrock of the program, along with some other guys that really made a difference. And every year it kind of turns over. We've been fortunate in my years here to have really great guard play, and we're hoping to continue that. We've had, first team all conference guards for a number of years, going back to TJ Williams, Davey Walker, Matt Janning, Chase Allen. We've had some really good guards, Joel Smith, John Lee, all CAA guys. And, the college game is about guards. You have to have good guard play. We'll be very young next year. It'll be a little bit of a challenge, but like I told my guys, that the standards and the expectations won't change. We'll expect to compete and be there at the end, and I think hopefully that mindset will help us.
Yeah, and that segues perfectly into my final question, because I did want to talk about next year. And obviously with Brace and Rowland gone, some of the guys will step up, but like I said, as long as you're there at the helm, I think there's a certain level Northeast is going to play to. I think you guys are going to be right up there with Hofstra and Delaware and maybe College of Charleston, and towards the top of the league is what's expected. And you'll have a guy like Tyson back. Shaquille Waters is coming back too. Jason Strong. There's a few guys coming back. But you did mention about the freshmen. They're the youth on this team. There's a lot of freshmen coming in as well. So I was curious, as someone who recruited these guys, which ones in particular, or which ones are you looking at that maybe you think are going to be able to come in, going to be able to contribute right away, and going to be able to do the things you need, the shooting, the passing, all that stuff that you need to play Northeastern basketball?
Yeah, I'm very excited about our incoming group. They're very, very talented, multi-positional guys, and I think with young players, their biggest thing is it's really hard to find opportunity. There are a lot of guys that could contribute, but like you said, we've had a veteran team for the past 3 seasons or so, and it's hard for a freshman to kind of break in. And really, when you look at it, I think even going back, I think we tried to track it. I don't know if a team's won the conference title, tournament title, starting a freshman.
Wow.
So in a long, long time, Hofstra didn't have any freshmen. We didn't have any freshmen the year before. And you go back, and I think we did win a regular season with Davey Walker starting as a freshman, but it's hard to do because this league is, they have 4-year guys and 5-year guys. But this group is, I'm really, really excited to see what they can bring. There's a lot of versatility, a lot of good positional size and length and athleticism. And we have a transfer, Chris Doherty. We're petitioning for a waiver for him. Hopefully he can get eligible. And then a bunch of freshmen that are coming in, and then guys on the bench that have kind of been, waiting their turn and anxious to get an opportunity.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting year for you guys next year. But like I said, I fully expect this team to be right in it, whether it's the beginning of CAA play or the CAA tournament. I'm assuming that you guys will be right there, and we're just excited with the way last year ended. We're just excited to get some CAA basketball back, get some Northeastern basketball back in our lives.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Well, I think we're all looking forward to it. I mean, obviously safety's first, but I'm hoping somebody very smart comes up with a great solution so we can all get back to, enjoying sports the way we always have.
Well, maybe because, like we said, we're in Jersey, you're in Boston. Maybe this Northeast bubble is where we play the college basketball season because we're doing okay here. So hopefully we can figure something out. But I'm optimistic.
That works for us. No, that sounds great to me.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us today. We wish you the best of luck in let's hope that it's an upcoming season, but we wish you the best of luck if we do play. And we hope to see you again soon. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Guys. Everybody stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Take care.